actually a guidebook for helping autistic teenagers learn coping and social skills through Minimal English and NSM. So there's three scripts for thinking, which is isolated from the book. The first is joining in a conversation with other people. It can be like this. Some people are thinking about some things in the place where I am. I want to say something about these things to these people. When it is like this, it is good if I think like this. I can't say anything when one of these people is saying something. I know that after some time, these people will not say anything for a very short time. I can say something at that moment. When I think like this, I can say something like this at that moment. I want to know more about these things. At the same time, I want to say some things about these things. It is good if I say something about the same things. The example I've given for adolescents is the thinking and saying protocol. You can say something like, I can hear Justin and Rachel talking. It sounds like they're talking about geography, which is one of my special interests. I'll wait for a pause and say something. The teenager can say something like, guys, what do you think of the video about traveling in the US and the chip that we saw in class this morning? I loved it. So they can learn that after pausing conversation, they can join the conversation by latching on to some appropriate remark that the other people were saying. Here's a new area that I've sort of been studying, which might be able to help those autistic undergraduates know what is relevant and assist them in improving interactions with the teaching staff and with their peers. It's the relational frame. It's called relational frame theory. It's a psycholinguistic framework invented by Professor Stephen C. Hayes of Nevada University back in 2000, which can be explained both at the semantic and the syntactic level in order to assist students to improve their interactions with the teaching staff. Can empower them to reach research level and to benefit society, as one of my friends has been doing, and to succeed with their lives. Now, relational frame theory basically connects individuals to the present event, what they're doing, regardless of who they're with and where they are, and can teach them to be relevant in conversation. The semantic primes that can be used to teach this and combined in minimal English sentences are the following: I and you, here and another place, and now and before. This can teach perspective taking and is actually an elaboration on the what is called the Barnes-Holmes protocol in psychology, which I've adapted in NSM. It also, I propose, be syntactically illustrated like this. The two sentences say James eats 2 apples, which is subject, verb, object, and can be reversed by saying James cut 2 apples for his grandchildren, which will be, hence the subject is at the end, and that enables the autistic to learn to take the perspective of others by knowing what the subject is. So the second script for thinking is called being considerate of others, which has been renamed. I know that it is like this. When I do things of one kind, I often feel something very good. When I talk to someone about these things, I often feel something very good. At the same time, when I talk to someone about these things, I often feel something very good. At the same time, I know it is like this. I can't talk about these things to all people. Not all people want to talk about things of this kind. It is good if I can think about it like this. I can talk about it to some people, not to many people. I can talk about it to these people sometimes, not at all times. The examples I've given are thinking and saying. You can think, for example, I can't talk about astronomy to everyone I talk to, I'll bore them. Dad will let me talk to him about astronomy on the weekends. I think that's fair enough. Here you don't need to say anything to anybody because the strategy relates to you, the special interests, which can bore people. That's the advice I've given to the autistic teenager. Now that's as the book is written for autistic teenagers, that's the advice I've given there. But it can be adapted to autistic undergraduates. But knowing that I suppose perseveration with their special interest can interfere with their ability to successfully complete coursework. Perhaps a solution might be that the lecturer may allow the student to incorporate some aspect of their interest in the coursework, which might mean allowing them to select their own assessment questions or essay questions, and to give them the opportunity to I suppose, to adhere to the framework, and in so doing produce good quality written assessments. Also, it might be certainly with the help of academic skills. Also might be possible to have the student, with permission, deliver a 10 to 20 minute presentation in place of a piece of written work, which may also allow for flexibility in assessments. And the third script is coping with the effects of thinking differently from how others think. Sorry. I know that it is like this. I'm someone not like other people. My brain does things not like other people's brains. Because of this, I think about many things not like other people. Sometimes good things can happen because of this. Sometimes bad things can happen because of this. It is good if I know this well. It is good if I often think like this. I can think about many things very well. Not all people can think like this. From my own experience, I can only say that autistic students have the advantage of having a very analytical mind that enables them to produce good quality assessment pieces, although on the other hand it interferes with their ability to socialize and to interact with peers. And I would certainly recommend that these students join clubs and societies like I've been chairing, and if they're eligible, that they're considered to do Bachelor of Philosophy work, and also some of the master courses that integrated into the bachelor degrees, in order to give them some more flexibility. The script for thinking that I've posited indicates that the autistic student thinks differently from others, and they can think. I know I think differently compared to other people. I have to remember that it's good and bad points. And drawing on what Carol taught me in pragmatics, I've thought about, in the light of having delivered a talk at a wedding some weeks ago, which contained a lot of speech acts. I'm thinking that certain speech acts can be combined with minimal English and minimal English and the NSM, in order to allow the autistic student to communicate to the lecturer by using pragmatics as the bridge to cross the river of language, to use that analogy. A quick conversation or an email between the student and the lecturer may help them to note out any problems or anticipated problems before the lecturer, by especially the student has missed a deadline or late, or perhaps has some emotional problems which may interfere with the lecture being successfully conducted. That can allow them to interact harmoniously and allow the students to succeed in a shorter time. Thanks.